Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Woolen and Worsted, a Fibery vlog. If you watched the first one, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. To everyone who commented and liked, that was so kind of you. It was a bit rough, but we're gonna keep trucking and it'll get better. So, welcome. You're always welcome here on this channel. On any of my social media, I'm on Instagram as GhostLori1. I'll put a thing on the screen. And on Ravelry as Loriag, because I literally could not think of a fun name. It was just terrible. So you're welcome to find me there. I'm on Facebook too. I know fewer people are there these days. It's kind of a wasteland of vitriol and craziness. Anyway, so thank you for being here, if you are. And I thought I would talk a little bit today about how knitting and spinning and fiber arts has impacted my life to start with, and then there will be other things. But I am so thankful for this. We're not going to call it a hobby because I feel like it's gone beyond that. That's for people who like things a little bit. I've gone to full-blown obsession at this point. It's not a gentle thing. It's a hardcore, deep, deep love and possible problem. But that's fine. It's not drugs. So it's fine. Everything's fine here. I started knitting, like I said, before my daughter was born. She's now 16. I don't remember exactly the year because I have a terrible memory and I'm just not the person who remembers anything ever. I do remember I learned from someone at a retreat that I went to, and I learned how to do the backward loop cast on and the knit stitch. That's all. So I went home and I was like, this is so much fun. I want to learn more. How do I do that? And because I'm old, that was before there was a lot of knitting things on YouTube, or really YouTube probably. I don't know how old YouTube is, but I had not discovered YouTube at that time, and there were not a lot of tutorials or anything there. So I went to the only stores that I knew near me that would have yarn, which was Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and I got books. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So I made a lot of really terrible things for quite a while. Not that, if you go to those stores you do, just that I did not have good taste. So it was interesting, and I think my loved ones were a bit scarred by the things that I asked them to love because I had made them for them. They should love it, right? There was a lot of fun fur, which has its uses, but isn't the style of most of the people I know and love. There was a lot of interesting textures and colors. And then I discovered several years later yarn stores, and somehow I really don't remember how I found it, but I think it was the Yarn Harlot's blog, which is so wonderful. She's so hilarious, and I've read all of her books, and I would read 15 more if she made them. So she's great. So I think through her blog I found Ravelry, and that was when it became a full-blown obsession, and I spent hours just looking at beautiful hand-dyed yarns and things like that. And then I figured out that people spin their own yarn, and I was like, oh wow, that's gotta be cheaper, right, than buying this hand-dyed yarn because it's so beautiful. But we were a young family, we were on a budget, we were moving quite a bit. We had one small child now and another that was coming soon, and I was like, I just can't afford a lot of this yarn, but spinning has to totally be cheaper. Like you could do that. Which is hilarious because the amount of money that I have now spent on spinning is just, it's a lot. So I was wrong. I mean, you could do it economically. I did not. So, but I'm a nerd in that I love to do the origin of something. I love history and I love learning the beginning of something. I want to go to the beginning and I want to do that. So, my husband, who's in the military and leaves often and was leaving quite often at that point, was so lovely and supportive, and he still is, and helpful. And he encouraged me, and for my anniversary one year, I got a beautiful Kromsky minstrel spinning wheel. And I was starting to learn to spin, and then I had my son, and that stopped me for a while because he wanted to be held every second of every day. So, and my husband had to leave again. So then when he came back, we decided we were going to go absolutely crazy and buy a small farm. My background is in animals. I worked with horses since I was 14. I did an apprenticeship to breed and train. I have had, a few jobs since then, but it is, for me, not a lucrative career. It didn't pay the bills. So, and it's very niche. So, I have a background with animals though, and that helped me so much because we decided to get sheep in a fit of madness as we got this farm. So we started with Icelandics, who were adorable and crazy, and so many people saw me in my pajamas chasing those sheep when they got out of the fence. And school children were scarred, I'm sure, because I would have to go get a can of grain and lure them back into the fence and try to patch that hole in the fence because they're almost as bad as goats. Icelandic sheep are very intelligent and lovely and crazy. So that was fun. And then we got some blue-faced Leicester sheep, and I learned through some friends to shear because again, I want to do the original thing, and I have so many issues, but I learned that, and it was so satisfying. It was so wonderful. And for 5 years, we were able to stay there, which is a long time for us to stay in one place. We were able to stay there. The last 2 years, my husband was gone. So it was just me. I always took care of the farm, but then the children too. So we had horses, we had dogs, we had chickens and sheep. It was a wonderful, stressful, crazy, awesome time, and I miss it, and I'm thankful I don't have to do it anymore. But I would do it again in a heartbeat because it was the best thing, and I met so many wonderful people. Some of that time was very hard, and I have to say that the knitting and the spinning really made me have something to look forward to and something to plan and something to think about when it was very hard, when at any point in my life since I've learned. Having that to enjoy and to help relax me and to make me think about other things has made me so happy and has immensely helped my mental health. I don't worry about things anymore because I can knit as I'm waiting for something anxious, like at a doctor's appointment. I can knit and I can calm myself down that way. I don't have to sit and fidget. I find it so calming and so relaxing. And so I have tried to make my spinning and my knitting, I can get very technical and I'll get into something and I'll be like, I need to figure out all of the ins and outs of this, but then sometimes that takes the joy out of it for me. So I'm trying to remember that I just need to do what makes me happy. That's the whole point of this. So I see other people doing some of these things and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. They're so talented and they're so smart. And I want to go off on that tangent, but ultimately that doesn't make me as happy. Like math and I are not friends. We don't like each other. It hates me. I hate it. It's fine. And so that's not fun for me. Getting too technical about my spinning is not fun for me either. I can do it, and if I really want a certain outcome, I will. But the relaxing and freeing and creative thing for me is just enjoying the feel of this wonderful stuff in my hands and enjoying the rhythm of the wheel and just, enjoying the flow. That's my favorite thing. I like making art yarn. I like making wearable yarn. Okay, sorry. One of the challenges of living in a tiny apartment is that people come in and out all the time and you don't have a private place to film yourself. And it feels very weird to be talking to yourself in a camera while other people are around. So everyone has to go away when I film. And my husband just got home, so I had to kindly ask him to not listen. Or I can't do this. So, sorry. I was talking about the kind of yarn I like to make, and I think I said wearable yarn as opposed to art yarn, which is wrong. That's a wrong statement because you can totally wear art yarn. I just have not figured out for me how to wear it and look like I usually look. So that's a me thing. Art yarn is beautiful and should be worn and should be enjoyed. So I have started weaving with a bit of it, and I think that for me is the best way to use my art yarn. I also see the art yarn that I believe her name is Amanda from Melanated Boho Bay. She makes the most beautiful sweaters with this art yarn that's so thick and chunky and it has things in it, and I'm just amazed. I'm in awe of her. So I just don't know if I can. I will never look as good as she does in them, but I just don't know if I can pull it off because I'm very, I don't love to stand out. I wear drab colors. I wear, plain things, whatever. I'm just not that fun when it comes to what I wear. But anyway, so I was speaking of my love for this craft, and one of the biggest things that it has meant for me is community. My dearest friends in the world are people that I met by way of Fibery. So two of my very, very dear friends are people that I met while we had our farm that also had sheep, that taught me so much, that were just my Fibery godmothers. They were wonderful, and I'm so thankful for them, and we talk all the time, and but now I can't be around them, so I am trying to find new Fibery friends. And here where we are, it's a little bit more challenging because I don't understand all of the language. I'm trying, but my brain is old and tired. It does not work that well. So it's got a lot of useless crap in there, like song lyrics from the 80s. I don't know why. So I am, and we live in a tiny little community here where there are very few people who get together and craft. I think it's hard to find that here. So I've missed my friends, and I've missed the in-person people that I get to see, but I found an awesome online community of people on Instagram, on Ravelry, on Facebook that I've met through Fibery, and I'm so thankful for them too, because They inspire me all the time. They're almost all just the kindest, lovely people. So that's been great. And I will also at the end show some of the video that I took at a knitting retreat that I went to in Trento, Italy, in the beginning of June. So there's I think I talked about it in the last one, there's a really beautiful wool shop in Bologna, Italy, and Julia from the Wool Done wool shop puts on retreats and all kinds of different things. She's always doing stuff, and there's several hours from us, or I would be just stalking her and at her shop all the time because she's awesome. But I was able to go to this retreat, and I'm so happy I went. Antonio from Beagle Knits was the workshop teacher, and he taught us how to design a shawl, the process that he uses for designing a shawl. And while I didn't understand exactly every word he said, I definitely understood enough to know what he meant. And I have a printout which I can Google Translate, and he was so kind. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. He's so talented. He was lovely to, just, I think I was awkward. I was awkward in 2 languages, which I'm awkward enough in English quite often, but I was awkward in 2 languages at the retreat, which is a feat. But I managed, so he was so nice. Anytime I was bumbling around trying to say something, he was like, it's okay, it's okay. So, oh my goodness. But I really enjoyed his workshop, and I learned a lot, and I thought it was so great. And then it was just lovely to be at this beautiful, beautiful place in the mountains with these lovely people. We hiked a good bit. We went to a couple of agriturismos, which is, it's like a small farm-to-table restaurant in the US. It's, I mean, one of them had their cows and the pigs right outside, and they're making amazing butter and cheese and so much good stuff. Oh my gosh, the meat, it was amazing. So Mas La Grisota is the first place we went, and it was delicious. And if I could just have them adopt me and stay there, that would be cool. And then Mas del Sado is the one we went to after that, and we had a full just meal of the most amazing fresh farm-to-table food you could have. And Vea is the lady who runs that. She's like the most talented chef ever. She's so crazy good and such a nice person. She also has sheep, and she gets the wool spun into yarn, and they had some yarn there, and I barely made it out of there without buying yarn. I should never buy yarn because I have so much in my stash, but I was trying not to, but it was hard, and at some point I may have to go back and just buy some yarn because it was beautiful. So I really enjoyed that. So I'll put some pictures at the end of our beautiful hike in the Italian Alps, the Dolomites. And thank you to everyone there for being so nice and putting up with my bumbling Italian and sometimes non-existent Italian. They were still really nice and talked to me so much. It was lovely. And I got to see my dear friend Orietta, who I enjoy so much. She's just lovely. And so I think that's all for that. And I will show you just really quickly what I've been working on. And then this has probably been too long for a lot of people. So, and totally understandable. So I was going to show you the result of the washed wool that I had made last time, and how the locks look after I wash them. So after my wool comes out of the colander. I have a little thing like this. So it stays together, and the locks are so easy to just take like this. And then this is the tip. And then I'll just take I use one of those lock popper thingies or a brush, a flicker brush. Yes, that's it. So, and I open up the end and the other end, yeah. And then I just spin like that. This is amazing wool. I love it so much. It's so great. This is honey fleece that I was spinning in the last bit, and I'm still processing a bit of it. I still have a bit to go, but oh my gosh, it's so nice. It's gonna be lovely. And then one of my recent finished objects that I dearly love, I took it to the Trento retreat because sometimes it gets a little chilly, is my No Frills sweater. There we go. It's by Petite Knit, and it's in the yarn Knitting for Olive merino and the silk mohair, and I got 2 different colors kind of, so it would be a bit marled. I don't know if you can tell there, not really showing, but I love this. It's so comfortable. I could just wear it every day if it wasn't like blazing hot right now. So that is one of my favorite things I've ever made. I love it so much. It's amazing. So what I am currently working on, and my travel knitting at the moment, because that's important, I get distracted easily and I can read my knitting, but I lose track of just time and space and everything. Anyway, so I am working on this Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry. I think I showed a bit of it last time, but it's bigger now. So there's that. It's a lot of fun, and I'm gonna have several ends to weave in, but that's okay. It's worth it. So I think I'm about halfway through that one. But it's been wonderful travel knitting because there's only a couple of lace sections in there, and they're so easy. They're such gentle lace that it's great. It's easy to do. And then it's a bit warm to work on this at the moment. I am usually dying after my workout in the morning. I come home and sit down and rethink everything about my life because I'm having to work out so hard, and it's just hot. So I have put this on hold a little bit for the moment. Here's the front. But I'm on the sleeves on this. I finished the bottom. I haven't blocked the bottom. The top is blocked because I had a moment of crisis where I was like, this is gonna be too big, but it's perfect. But I haven't blocked this part yet. This is the Hinterland sweater by Jennifer Steingast. It's awesome. I love the pattern. I love these colors together, and I love this yarn so much. I got it in Portugal at Retrosaria Rosa Pomar, and I will be getting more in the near future. Who cares about the stash? It's fine. So I'm just to the decreases on the arms, and then later on there'll be some more color work down at the bottom. But this is so, I just love this project. It's really fun. And I had spun some Cheviot, not sure how you say that. I heard Evie from Jillian Eve say Cheviot was right on her podcast. I feel like she's usually done the research, and she usually pretty much knows what she's talking about. So I'm gonna go with Cheviot. So I spun some, and then I dyed it with the dyes that my friend Orietta gave me at the retreat. And there's magenta, and I have not made them into good. I'm terrible at making skeins. Oh, it's bad. So there's gray and there's magenta. I have enough for a cardigan, a colorwork cardigan. Very excited. Or just a regular sweater. I don't know. We'll see. And then some things that I think that I'm going to do differently. So I have this sweater that I really liked, but it's the striped boxy tee. And I can't remember the designer's name. I will put it down below. Sorry. It was such an easy, fun pattern. Went so quick. It's DK weight. This is hand spun yarn from Friends in Fiber. Yes. And the colorway is Viking Treasures. So I had 4 braids of this, and I adore these colors. But I thought I didn't have enough for like a bigger sweater. And I probably didn't, but I made this too big. So I thought I guess I thought I wanted ease. However, it does not look, it just looks like it doesn't fit well. It's too big. So we're gonna rethink that along with this, which is an Abbey shawl by Elizabeth Smith knits. No, Abbey shawl color cardigan. So I love Elizabeth Smith knits. Like, her designs are so great. I can follow them so easily, and they usually turn out to fit me really well. And this one does. However, I have decided this is the yarn from the other tee, and then there's some Polworth, some handspun Polworth, and they were perfect matches for gauge. So I used the leftover from the other sweater for this. However, I thought a short sleeve sweater would be good because it's hot here and sometimes it's just a little bit chilly, but then I realized on a day in Rome when I wore this that if I'm cold, my arms are cold. So yeah, that doesn't work that well, does it? So what I'm going to do, I think, is take these two apart, and I'm going to make them one whole sweater with arms, because I need arms, apparently. So I think that will be perfect, and I'm very excited about it. It's gonna take a bit because I'm working on the other things, but yeah, I think that will be a really, because they're not serving me right now, so I should make it to where I love the yarn, and I would like for them to, you know, I would like to be able to wear it. So there we go. Yeah, I think that's it for today. If you have made it all the way through this, thank you so much. You are a trooper. I appreciate you. I appreciate anyone watching this, and thank you for the kind comments. That was so nice of you if you commented. Just, I love to know if you're watching this, what you're working on, what you're doing, you know, if you have pattern suggestions for the gray and magenta color work, I would love to hear that, because I am at a loss. I don't know. So that would be great. And I'm going to put at the end a bit of the hike from the retreat, and just thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it.